I am Yvonne Anyango Oyeke, Executive Director of an organization called UTU WETU Trust, and we work towards holding the government accountable for human rights violations with a bias towards accountability for sexual violence. And we are here over the last day and a half having a conversation around accountability for election-related sexual violence.
From this discussion, I want to understand what's the practicability of all these enactments, laws that we have. Is it just legislation? What's the practicability? How can we fight GBV? How can we ensure that each and every vulnerable group of minorities also access justice?
There would be a fund that would be capitalized over a period of 3 years to serve mainly as reparations for victims of the 2007-2008 post-election violence. We can hold the government to account on that. It's now 8 years since, actually almost 9 years since that statement was made. It may have been made with a view to looking good. But this is a time that we must revisit these issues and ensure that we make not just that one step forward, but a second step forward and a third.
For one to go through this process, they have to be strategic enough. That is why we are here to speak about strategic litigation. So, as an advocate or as a person handling a matter regarding SGBV, and especially that aims against the government, or rather that accuses some well-positioned people in the government, I would say it's never easy. So challenges that comes with, we've had several political interference. There are a lot of political interference.
Partnerships are very important in strategic impact litigation because there's power, there's more strength in coming together from different sectors and advocating for a similar cause. And that way also it compels the court to be able to give us the outcomes that my co-panelists have alluded to, the ones that will have the effect of deterrence, of law and policy reforms, because you see strategic impact litigation also now can be a starting point, it can be the birthing point of law and policy reform.
Tumebeba misalaba yetu na mizigo yetu pamoja na familia zetu, kwa sababu kila njia ambazo tulidhani zinaweza zikatusaidia zimetumika, lakini bado hatujafua dafu. Wenda kwa ambaye hakupitia hawezi akaelewa uchungu ambao survivor nao. Iwapo ulikuwa na mume wako mnapendana na unaweza kurepiwa kuona hatimaye akuache kwa kapu na watoto, na aliko kuacha akakuacha hivyo, umebaki ukihangaika na watoto, ile hali ya kuishi katika hali ya kumeza madawa ya HIV ni chungu.
Tumelea ya kuchoka, na tumeongea na kuongea na hizi organization, civil society organization, hizi kuanzia FIDA, Care Kenya, Human Rights, au wote tukipitia hao, hakuna mahali hatujawahi kujaza hata mafunzo. Kwenda kwa mabarabara tumeenda, lakini serikali haijawahi kutega hata masikio hata siku moja. Hiyo inatupatia uchungu ambao tukisema sasa hivi ili tukijiuliza tufanye nini ama tuongezee nini ili serikali atusikize. Hatujui tutafanya nini ili asikie.
It's been a very robust couple of days of discussion. I think we began our discussion just reflecting more generally on the role of the courts in holding the government accountable for election-related sexual violence, and thinking through different elements around that, the question of reparations and compensation and what this means for victims and survivors of sexual violence. Today has been a very active day in terms of participation. We had a session that focused on survivor experiences and how to center the survivor voice and ensure that at all times we are keeping their interests in mind. And we closed with a very exciting session with the media, just thinking through how we can work together to realize accountability and break the cycle of violence.
Importance ya kupiga kelele, kupaaza sauti, kusema hili halijafanyika ni muhimu sana kwa kundi la waathiriwa ambao wako hai, na wale wako hai wataongea kuhusu ama on behalf of ya wale ambapo hawako hai. Kwa hivyo ndugu yangu kutoka Kibera na kwinginepo ambapo popote kuna wenzetu ambao wametuacha, ni vizuri sana hadithi zao ziwe zimeandikwa, kwa sababu sasa tuko na report ambayo ni official document ya serikali, inaitwa the report of the Truth, Justice and Reconciliation Commission report. Ni vizuri sana hizi stories, hizi nini za hadithi za kuathirika hata wale wajue. Kwa hivyo kama ni mbunge wenu, mwambie hii report ya tume sasa ishatoka, ni official. Wewe kama mbunge wangu, mbona haupigani katika bunge ili mapendekezo ya hii tume iweze kutekelezwa?
But we'll take the outcomes of this particular symposium. I think what next, or there are many steps that we can take as we move forward. Foremost is, I think, galvanizing ourselves around some sort of advocacy, because I think we've had this internal discussion, but we need to take the outcomes of what we've discussed here and share it. So based on the reports that our rapporteurs will produce from this and the different outputs, then we really do want to disseminate the findings or the key points from this particular discussion. So disseminate on our website and social media pages, in person, see what duty bearers we can reach out to, because we invited them for this session, but they weren't here. So in the spirit of doing things differently, then we would also want to take the results of this particular discussion to them as an initial step and see if they would be interested in listening to us. And if they're not, then we take Betty's